It's been 10 days since the election, and the Democrats have done everything but accept responsibility for their failures. Now we're looking at why the economy sucks. They say voters blame Biden and Harris for rising costs. Was that fair? We asked economists. So they go on, they talk about blah, blah, blah. They set up the story and everything. And so we get to this point here that I've got highlighted. But is the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris administration to blame? Yes, the economist said, but only to a degree. Of the 7 economists who spoke to a USA Today, most cited the global pandemic, not Biden, as the primary cause of the nation's inflation crisis. I'm not going to say that's completely wrong. We did shut down the vast majority of jobs, and we kicked people out of their jobs. Tons and tons of people. There's businesses that will never reopen again because of what we did as a bunch of retards. So let's see, did I have anything else? So they go on. So Biden and the Fed succeeded at pulling the economy out of a downturn. The job market swiftly stabilized. Oh, you mean you just reopened restaurants and retail stores and offices that people could go and work who maybe didn't have the ability to work from home? And then they say, but the stimulus also fed inflation, the economist said, which has ultimately helped sink the Democrat at the polls. The stimulus, although they're not wrong, was a drop in the bucket compared to the spending that the government did during these times. So what I want to talk about is Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency that will be head up by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy in an effort to find wasted spending in the government. One of the greatest things about this is how people have been sending out examples of government waste. Money that's being spent on the most ridiculous ideas that Congress, the Senate, and the president agrees should be done. Now, our first example is going to be this tweet the other day from Rand Paul. He says, here's another one for Doge. And it has a little picture. Hamster Fight Club, $3 million. The National Institute of Health spent over $3 million to watch hamsters fight on steroids. But there's a community note. The study in question was intended to identify the effectiveness of anti-aggression drugs on hamsters with increased aggression caused by steroids. Animal studies are used to determine the efficacy and safety of drugs before their use in humans. So we needed to study hamsters on, I don't know what would be an anti-aggression drug. Is that a depression? Is that SSRIs? Like, what's an anti-aggression drug? I don't know. I guess I could look it up, but who gives a shit? Anyways, they injected these hamsters on drugs. They used $3 million, over $3 million, to watch how the hamsters were going to kill each other. So I went and I was like, okay, well, Rand Paul, he's a senator, he knows. So I did verify it. This happened to NIH. This is their study. All you got to do is Google hamster steroids and you'll get this. Now, this was done back in 2017, February 19th. That's on President Trump's watch. On Twitter, I also found this. This person gave a lovely graphic of why we need Doge. In the last 4 years, this is how Dems wasted your tax dollars. Do selfies make us happier? Does cocaine turn a quail on? Does climate change make it harder to drive a taxi? Drag shows in Ecuador, Fauci's transgender monkey project, and lost to fraud of 500K. You can't see that, but it says 500K lost to fraud. I have a feeling it's more than that. But that's just speculation. I have no evidence of that. So I went and I looked these up as well. Does cocaine make a quail horny? Here's the study. But this was 2016, January 1st. Technically, Obama. Actually, no, very much so Obama, because Trump wasn't inaugurated until January of 2017. So this was done under Obama. We've got a University of California, Irvine, with study links to have Selfies and Happiness, September of 2016. Couldn't really find anything on the study for the climate change of being a taxi driver harder because of climate change. But I did find that no matter what you do, driving a taxi is both good and bad for climate change. Go figure. The next one. Oh, which one's this? Fact check. Is Biden administration funding drag shows in Ecuador? I highlighted a little bit of this. The grant listing the usapending.gov website says that funds, which began September 30th and will run through August 31st of 2023, will allow a recipient CEN to host 3 workshops, 12 drag theater performance, and produce a 2-minute documentary. Let's go back to what this said. Drag shows in Ecuador for $21K. That's real. That was under Joe Biden. And last but not least, which one we got here? We've got the Fauci transgender monkey thing. This is a fact check. Anthony Fauci not involved in monkey experiments, health agency says. Okay, so Anthony Fauci, fuck you. Anthony Fauci not involved. So he's actually not involved in it, but they are giving monkeys estrogen to see if that changes their sexuality or something. I don't know, but it's real. This is the kind of spending that our government is doing all the time in ways that we never know. But you know what? Rand Paul does this thing every year. The Festivus Report. I did a video on this back last December, I want to say, which is when he comes out with this. So this is even spending that was done in 2023, just last year. I'm looking forward to the next one because I think he will be even more motivated to help Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy get their job done. Now, also, I don't want to pretend. Look, all Doge can do is expose this stuff. They're not going to have any power to actually say, you're out. What they're going to do is they're going to give their findings to Donald Trump and while letting the people see what they find because they've already committed to having a list of what they're looking into and they're going to have a priority that the people can help set into the government waste. Now, back to the Festivus report, you can see here we've got Barbie doll photo used to get COVID PPP funds. This was actually a fraud case, I believe, which was part of the $800 billion of the COVID spending. We've got in the red for the national debt. So we spent $659 million on debt, which no, that's billion. My bad. We've got, there's a bunch of stuff about monkeys on here. There's a bunch of other stuff. You can go find, I did a video back, like I said, in December that covered this whole thing. The government is not good at spending money. And that's what drives inflation up. And then they hide it with all of their bullshit fucking jargon that she wouldn't change anything, that Bidenomics is working, while the everyday person is paying twice as much for their groceries. The gas is through the roof. I remember, so I started driving after 9/11, and that was pretty much the end of any decent kind of gas prices, right? 9/11 was a huge changing point in America for some reason. And I didn't start driving until after then. And I remember thinking, I will never pay sub $3 gas prices. I live in Arizona. And then Donald Trump came around and that happened. That means it's possible. And he's not the only one that could do it. But for some reason, Joe Biden was incapable of keeping those prices that low. I wonder what changed. You can find it. It's not that hard. Anyhow, let me know what you're excited for to see to come out of Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. I love it. I love the cope that's coming from all of this news. It's been 10 days of winning. Just be vigilant, people. Anyways, until next time, have a good one.